Hi, this is Mike from SuperB. I come to Taiwan to visit my friends here at SuperB about once a year. The guys here, they know that I'm really crazy about riding bikes. I've been doing it since I was a little kid. I was kind of a terrible racer for about 20 years. In the last 10 years or so, I've really gotten into doing brevets, audax. Actually, yeah, I love it. I've done PvP the last 3 times. Definitely plan to do it again. Yeah, I'm always on my bike if I can be. I'm either at the shop, I have a bike shop in South Korea, or ride my bike usually. So they're always like wondering, they want to make tools for guys who really ride bikes. And so they're always asking me and wondering like, is this good? Does this really work? So they give me their products often, I use them, and I give them honest feedback. One of the things they're wondering is, what do you use for your long distance rides? So I'm here to tell you guys and tell them, this is what I use. So this is the little handlebar bag I use for 200 and 300K rides, and for like gravel rides or long distance gravel rides I've been doing lately. It's made by Roadrunner, awesome guys, handmade in Los Angeles. Really like them. I've been selling their products at my shops for a few years, and yeah, good stuff. So the first thing you're gonna encounter probably, or most common, is gonna be punctures. In the past, I just had butyl tubes, but in the last couple years, TPUs has become popular. So I usually carry 1 or 2, usually it's 2 TPU tubes in a little plastic bag. And the reason I do that is to protect the tubes from getting scratched or damaged. They don't weigh anything, they're small, they work really well. You have to be a little careful handling them, but no problem. Sometimes you get unlucky, and it doesn't happen often with modern tires because they are really, really good. But if you do get multiple punctures, you're gonna want some kind of a glueless patch kit. With the TPU, they don't work with glue. You need a sticker type, and you need to make sure it's clean. So something like this glueless patch kit, that can work really well. This year I'm going to be doing a 200K and 300K gravel event in South Korea. South Korea has amazing gravel. I mean, people don't realize it. I rode Dirty Kanza back in 2012 when it was called Dirty Kanza. Loved it. Love gravel. I did Gravel Worlds in Nebraska years ago. Awesome event. But Korea also has awesome gravel. So with gravel, you're gonna do Tubeless. This is a new tool that SuperB came out with, and so I'll be trying this out. It looks like a pretty beefy, tough, it's not heavy, but it got some weight to it. Bacon strip or a tire plug for Tubeless, because yeah, even with Tubeless, sometimes the hole can be a little big. And yeah. You can see here, it's got your poker thing. I mean, if you have a big hole, your tire's probably gonna be toast afterwards anyway, so you might as well use something big and just really get it in there. It comes with the 2 sizes of bacon strip. It's got the smaller one, which you'll probably use more often, but it's also got these big boys here in case you really killed your tire. So yeah, a lot of options there. This should work really well. Also, it is pretty roomy inside. Again, if you wanna put, I keep thinking chain links, you can put a chain link in there. But yeah, screw it together, choose whatever bacon strip or plug you're gonna wanna use, screw it in there, and yeah, punch away. Yeah, I'll be also giving this a check or a test when I get back to Korea. Hopefully I don't have to use it too much, but maybe I will, we'll see. So yeah, these are some pretty good options if you're gonna have any kind of puncture issues. So again, when you're doing long distance, first thing, this is step number 1. Okay, so you're gonna have to take your tire off. So if you've worked at shops for a while or you've changed your own tires, you know that tire lever makes a huge difference. So in my bag, I usually just carry 1 lever because I've been changing tires since I was 15 years old, and I was a shop rat back, I think the first time was in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, and then later Asheville, North Carolina. But this thing's, the reason I like it is it's tough, the shape is good, it's got a little bit of a metal core. And if you're not like super good at changing tires, then you probably want more than 1. They come in sets of 3, so at least take 2 with you. But yeah, these things are great. They work really well. These are also ones I also use in my shop quite often. If I am gonna use Tubeless or a really tight, tough tire to get off, SuperB has these newer levers. Actually, I've been using these in my shop for about a year. Top secret. They're awesome. They're also metal core and they're longer, so they give you a ton of leverage. If you're doing a really tight tire, this is something you might want to try, or you're just having trouble getting them off. Yeah, this is a really nice tire lever as well. So, just find the tire lever that works for you. It makes a huge difference, and these are what I use. Okay, so now your tire's on, your tube's in, your tire's on, and you gotta put some air in there. So there's a lot of methods. These days, one of the hot products is those little tiny electric inflators. I think they're cool. Seems like a lot of money for something you're not gonna use very often. So for me, I still stick with the good old CO2 cartridge. It's simple. Don't get a lot of punctures, honestly, because I check my tires regularly and I do not use a bunch of old tires on my bikes. But yeah, it's easy, it's fast. Again, you don't use them that often, but it's always good to have a backup. So you're definitely gonna want some kind of small mini pump. There's about 1 million of them. Just pick the one that works for you. I like this one, it's small, works just fine. If you notice your air is leaking out, especially if you're going tubeless, to have a little valve port tool. This one does Schrader as well, if you're doing Schrader. I don't, I use Presta. I had a friend this summer, he was riding in Mongolia, his tires kept going flat, and he messaged me. He's like, man, what's going on? So I told him, have you checked your valve cores? And sure enough, it was the valve cores. So if you are losing air kind of quickly, it could be the valve core. This will do it for you. So yeah, this will handle your inflation. So now you should be able to ride your bike, at least, you know, after a puncture, you're ready to go to the next problem. Another problem you can have are bolts getting loose, or maybe the saddle's a little too high or too low. Especially every time or anytime I get a new bike. I own a shop, so I get kind of a lot of new bikes. Sorry, wife. I like to carry a little mini torque wrench with me. My newest bike is an Athos, and it's great, super light, but it's carbon, so you should be careful with your torques. So I've been using this guy for the last couple of years, and it's a great little tool. Actually, the first time I used this was during Paris 2 years ago, and yeah, love it. It's great. It has 4, 5, and 6 Newton meters, which is all you're pretty much gonna need for like 80% of your bike. So you can use it as a little ratchet, so it's handy that way. And then you can also put one of these extenders on it, and you can use it as a torque wrench. And so yeah, it's good. If you're using an expensive bike, lightweight, you should use a torque wrench as much as you can. So I do. I've seen at my shop enough cracked bikes and cracked C-posts to know that I should probably always use a torque wrench. I'll tell you, about 15 years ago, I cracked a couple myself. So yeah, this is one of my go-to tools, especially if it's a bike that I'm not sure of the fit. So it's good. And luckily for me, they are releasing a new mini torque wrench, and I'm super excited about this. They're gonna let me test this when I go back. Where this one has some limitations, it's 4, 5, 6. This one does not. It goes all the way up to 15, so it will do a lot on your bike. Also, it has little bits, so I mean, you could conceivably take this in like 3 bits, and you got everything you need for the bike. Yeah, it can go both directions, which is awesome. It's just a great little tool. I'm excited. I've been asking them for years, like, more anodizing, and yeah, they listen, which is great. More anodizing, black and orange. It's got this knurling, which is what I love. Yeah, it's a great tool. So I'll be testing this thing out over the next year and let you guys know. Okay, you're definitely gonna want some form of multi-tool in your bag. There's so many. What I've been using is this little basic one here. It has most of what you need. It's got a 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's got a Phillips head on it, got a few other little tools hidden in there, some spoke wrenches. It's really mostly what you need, and this is what I've been using for a few years. What's most important is you know how to use the tools you have. But there's another tool which is new to me. They've been making it for a few years, and they want me to try it for the spring randonneering season, and they just want some feedback. Does it work? What's good, what's bad? So they're gonna have me looking at this one, and it looks good. What this probably will do is replace a bunch of tools that I already carry. It's got kind of everything in here. First of all, it's got tire levers. Now, I don't think I'd use these in the shop. They're pretty small, but in an emergency, they should be just fine. But I'm gonna test it. They feel pretty darn stiff, so I think it will be good, but we shall see. Also, it does have a chain tool. I used to not carry a chain tool, which was a mistake, and my wife and I were riding on our tandem about 15 kilometers. Yeah, I ride tandems with my wife, it's great. And we broke a chain. It didn't have a chain tool. That was bad. So it's nice to have a little chain tool. Along with the chain tool, I carry little spare links. If it breaks, you have to sort of trim off those extra links and then put this on there, so you can do it with this. Next, it's got pretty much every Allen key size you're gonna need. Again, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's got Phillips, it's got Torx, it's got flathead. So yeah, and I'm curious about the shape. I have big hands, fairly big, and it looks like it's kind of nice for turning. So I'll be checking that out. And then lastly, it's got this patch kit. Again, that'll replace just the loose patch kit that's kind of floating around in my bag, and maybe a little bit easier to find. And it is the glueless type, self-adhesive, so for like the TPUs that I use, it should be just fine. It should be good. So yeah, I'm curious to see how this goes, but it should free up some space and make the inside of my bag just a little more organized. So yeah, give it a shot. Another thing I take with me, not usually on the shorter ones, but on the big ones, and especially if I go to another country to do an event, I bring a derailleur hanger. So I bring the derailleur hanger for the model of bike that I use. So last time when I rode PvP, I was using a Triton bike, great frame, titanium, and they use Paragon Machine Works. So I grabbed one of those extra hangers. I think Triton's made in Portugal now. Check them out. But that's one thing you're definitely going to want to take with you. So my bike's through axle, but if you are still running QR, we've got this here. This is kind of a multi-purpose, I guess, universal would be the better word, derailleur hanger. So if you break your derailleur hanger, you can actually use this, you thread it on, and it will act as a derailleur hanger and it will get you home. And if you're going like across to another country and you break your hanger, you just want to finish. You don't want to waste all that money and time. So this could save your ride. So it's a good idea. It's a great little thing to throw in your bag. I really hope they come up with a through axle version of this. So I'll be asking them to, because it's a good little product for sure. And it doesn't weigh anything, it's small, and it'll save your ride. So it's good. Just a couple other random things I take with me. Take a small pen. So if you're doing brevets, sometimes you need to write down your times at different checkpoints and things like that. The ones in Korea, I like it. It's still kind of analog. We use the paper brevet cards. We write our time and then get the stamps on there. Or we do photo controls, but we still need to write time. So yeah, I find a little pen handy. Just cut it down. Another thing is you got to have GPS. I use a Wahoo. Love it. And it has good battery life, but it's not going to last for a 2 or 3 day event. Like when I did LEL in 2017, I had some battery issues. So since then, I'm pretty careful with using an external battery. This one's from Nightcore. I got it a couple years ago. I did use this at PvP. It's awesome. Great little device. It's small, it's tough. I was watching a YouTube video and someone who was doing a gravel race in Spain recommended it, and I checked it out, and yeah, it was a good recommendation. And then I want to make sure I have the right cords, micro USB-C, whatever you need for your phone or for your GPS. And that's kind of it. And then yeah, like tons of food or snacks. Usually those are in my pocket. Yeah, and that's kind of all I take on a 2 and 300. It's enough. It'll get you there. I guess one of the last tips I'd like to give is, or one of the things I do at least, I'm a big handlebar bag guy. The reason I like to use the handlebar bags is when you're doing a long ride, 300 or 400K, you just don't want to stop that often. The more you stop, the time just bleeds away. With a handlebar bag, I can open it up, I can access it while riding. So especially like snacks or charger cables or just whatever I need. If it's not something that I need to stop for, I can just grab it and I can keep riding. I don't need to stop so much. On longer rides like 1200s, I do use a saddle bag with, actually I have a bigger handlebar bag I use, and that works really well. So yeah, I hope these tips or this information helps you with your long ride. I hope you're prepared. Now you just have to actually ride your bike. All right, I hope you like these videos. I'm trying my best here. If you do, please comment, subscribe, and of course, like it. It's to tighten up your valve cores. So yeah, once you get the air in there, then you want to make sure your valve cores are nice and tight too. Especially if you're using tubeless tires. It sounds like there's a little animal in the background there.